But when you study these things, you see this back and forth interchange, interplay of ideas musically, etc. So once you kind of deal with the person on common ground, and you could like, okay, what are you into? Okay, that's interesting, and here's what I'm into. And that's a lot of what went on at that time. So hip-hop at that time was not really on record for the most part. It was still this thing that happened way up in the Bronx. As a guy, a teenager that grew up kind of into it, I had tapes, I had a boombox, I would play it, I was really curious about it, I had figured out a lot of the pieces, and as I began to meet people on the downtown art scene, I would tell them about this music, which I felt was connected to this form of painting, and I thought it constituted something unique. When we got to make the movie Wild Style, the idea that I had, which became the movie, was a way to connect all these things, which were not really connected prior, or were these things written about as such. But Keith was one of those people that was immediately enthusiastic, all over it. I want to hear it, I got it, and I would explain how there's Grandmaster Flash. Like if you listen to the record Rapture, what Deborah Harry is saying is things that I would tell her, like Flash is the fastest DJ, and you know, there's fly guys and fly girls, and then she put it together in that amazing song. But I would tell Keith that there was this other, there was Flash, and there was this guy named Africa Bambaataa, who was known as the Master of Records, who was the head of the Mighty Zulu Nation, which was a former gang that he converted into basically a cultural organization in the hood. And I knew Bambaataa had this amazing amount of music, like not just everything funk, soul, jazz, but he had an amazing rock collection and records that you can dance to. So when Keith and I became good friends, they had a spot that they would all hang out at, a lot of what became known as the Club 57 crew, a place called Club 57. And Keith put together, we would have, it was almost like, when any of you guys remember the Little Rascals, any of those shows where a bunch of kids just go, let's have an art show. Okay, what's the theme going to be? And Keith would say, okay, it's going to be a black light art show. So we're going to have fluorescent, black lights, and everybody has to make work from some medium that'll glow, which I thought was an incredible idea. So he said, and man, see if you can get that guy Africa Bambaataa, maybe he'll come and play. And I was like, damn, let me see. Of course it was for very little money, but I went up to the Bronx, found Bam, and Bam came and played at Club 57. He got to play his Monkees records, his Rolling Stone records, along with some James Brown and some P-Funk, and everybody had a great time. I hooked Bambaataa up with a few more gigs, which would lead to him making a record called Planet Rock, which began the whole electro-funk scene, because Bam got to be in front of an audience of like punk rock, white kids that were really into these other records, and it inspired him to then merge Kraftwerk's music. Anyway, there was a whole lot of that going on back and forth. We were turning each other on the music. I liked this record. It was great to paint to. Keith would always have music on when he painted. And once again, Jean-Michel, Futura, we all were very caught up in the cutting edge music of the time, as well as, the music of David Byrne and the B-52s, and everybody was influencing each other is, I guess, essentially what was going on, once again, all in that same period at that time.